Are you feeling a little bit stressed about making goals for the new year? And you see this title of the podcast and think, "Oh, I haven't done very well in that area." Well, if that's you, don't worry. I got you. My name is Dara Thomason, and this is called the Quilters Coach Podcast, episode 179, Making Goals. Okay, so I have a very interesting way of looking at goals that I share with all of my members as soon as they join the membership that I wanted to share with you here because I want to set you up for success and I want you to not shrink and shudder when you think about making goals. But before I go into the goodness of the podcast, I do want to share a win, and this is of a client who made a goal back at the beginning of 2024 she has 6 children, and she wanted to make each one of them a quilt. And she didn't just like, we're going to make you slap a bunch of fabric together kind of quilt. She customized each quilt for each one of her children, their personalities, the things that they love. And she used like a lot of really cool strategies and uh, different techniques and patterns. And she was able to finish the 6th quilt to her free motion quilter or her long armor before December 1st. It is so exciting. And she has been able to do it because she's really been learning these tools and ways of looking at goals. She was also part of my reboot, which was kind of a specialized look at goals that it's an extra program on top of the membership. And we just really focus on goals. And that's an option if any of you are interested. All right. So let's go into this concept of clean and dirty goals. And I learned this from Lauren Cash in this course that I took from her on how to make goals, how to really look at things. And I learned a lot. And so basically, she talks about a clean goal is you have a very clear objective that you know that you can you can say, this is the result. The second one is everyone could agree that you have accomplished it. So that's when you know it's a clean goal. The third way to know if it's a clean goal is you do the goal for yourself, for who you will become in the process of working towards creating it, not for the purpose of achieving the end result. The fourth way you know it's a clean goal is even if you don't accomplish the goal in the initial time frame you set, you are willing to continue to go after it. So think about that one. How many of us make a goal, we don't finish it, and then we just throw it away because it didn't happen in the time frame we had set? The fifth is through the process of working on creating the goal, you learn so much. Number 6, you are not the same person you were when you started. So are you allowing that transformation? And number 7 for a clean goal is you know that while you want to achieve this goal and while you think it's worth creating, your life won't be infinitely better or infinitely worse just because you've accomplished it. And I have a client who she made one goal for the year. That was it. And she put so much pressure on herself to accomplish that one goal. That she put way too much pressure on herself and on the goal. And there wasn't that balance. So that's if you know you have a clean goal. Now you're like, okay, Dara, that's great. But what about this dirty goal? I want to know about that. Because when you look up dirty goal in sports, it's actually a hockey term where it's kind of a messy goal. Like there's a bunch of people in front of the goalie, and there's some backhanded stuff, and it's not super clean. That's what the hockey term for dirty goal is. So this one is not in written form, so it's not known if it's achieved or not. Okay. Another way to know if it's a dirty goal is you believe you will be better in some way when it's achieved. So how does that feel? Number 3, you fantasize about how much better your life will be once you complete this goal. So this is one I encounter a lot with weight loss. A lot of us will think, well, once I lose the weight, doesn't matter how I lose it, but once I've lost it, then I can relax. Then I can feel good about myself. So that's a tricky one. And then the fourth one to know if it's a dirty goal is you are in a hurry to finish it. So now that we've kind of looked at that, I want you to, we're going to do an activity called reverse engineer. Okay. So I want you to write down or think about 3 goals that you have made for yourself and you've accomplished. So maybe it's finishing a certain quilt, or maybe it's getting a degree, or maybe it's retiring. I don't know. But I want you to think you made a goal and you accomplished it. Now, so write those 3 things down or get them in your head. And now I want you to ask, how did you accomplish that goal? So what did you have to do so that you could have success? Okay. And now I want you to, so write those down. So maybe you asked for help, or you asked for help. Maybe you modified the goal. Maybe you delegated certain parts, or maybe you eliminated certain things that you realized weren't as necessary. And so I want you to just kind of have an idea in your mind of, oh, that's how I accomplished that. And then now I want you to write down or think about. I just like writing things down because I can't always keep everything in my head. So what are some goals that you had that you didn't accomplish? Now, this is really interesting. You're like, I don't want to think about that, Dara. It's okay. You don't have to want to think about it. But what were the things you'd set a goal and you didn't accomplish it? And I want you to understand why didn't you accomplish that thing? Now, we're getting our floors done right now. And one of the owner of the flooring company had his daughter with him today because it's a day off of school. And his other daughter and wife are at the Taylor Swift concert. It's actually just across the ocean in Vancouver tonight. And it's interesting to think about Taylor Swift. So right now, she is a huge, she's incredible. Everyone, almost every single person, knows about her, and she's created such a buzz. She's done so many things. And I know that there's been a lot of rocky parts in her journey. And there's times where people so Taylor Swift, this is just funny that I'm talking about Taylor Swift, but it's because I'm not really a big Swiftie. But I just thought about it's good to have examples. So she signed her first record in 2005, and she started as a country singer. And so she kind of went through that, and then she experimented with some different things. And then in 2010, she had another album. So she had some albums 2006, 2008, and then in 2010, she started doing a little bit more of the rock music. And 2014, 2017, she actually in 2017, got in the top 100 with We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. And a few other songs. And then she shifted her record dealer in 2018 to the electric pop. And so she's really gone through this transformation. And but and she's actually sold over 200 million records, which is insane. She's 34 years old. She is the highest grossing female touring act, the first billionaire with music as primary income, and the world's richest female musician. And it's interesting when you look at there's many times where she was like she had disappointments, and at one point she didn't get a certain accolade, and her record didn't go very well. And they said, "Oh, well, what's wrong?" And she said, "I guess it just wasn't good enough. I'm just going to make it better." And I think that as we think about our um, as we think about our own life, and I'm gonna reference weight loss, and just because that is something that people are attracted to me by, they like this idea of, wait a minute, she's talking about weight loss without counting calories or tracking steps. She's talking about going into getting to the root of the problem. She's talking about we don't have a knowledge problem, we have a feeling problem. We don't know how to feel our feelings. So you resonate with what I'm talking about. But the thing that makes such a difference with the life coaching aspect of weight loss is it's you finally get to the root of the problem. And on the coaching calls in the last 2 weeks or so inside the membership, we've really been dialing in on figuring out what is really going on. We are really good at distracting ourselves. And now we have these phones, and some of us have these electric watches, and we've got people zinging and dipping and, messaging and buzzing and all of this constantly. It's so hard to be with ourselves. And so it's so much easier to get distracted. And so I want to just be here with this voice saying, listen, you're not broken. You are totally capable of creating whatever kind of result you want. But if you are making goals that are dirty goals and they're not cleaned up, you could be putting a ton of effort, a ton of work into something, and you're not going to move the dial because you're not in a space that is clean and healthy for you. And the problem, a lot of us don't even realize we're falling into those dirty goals. Don't even realize that we're having these difficulties in the first place because we don't know the difference between a clean goal and a dirty goal. So I'm going to just leave it there because I want you to spend your time really thinking, going back to the beginning of the podcast and thinking, okay, am I making a goal with these 7 parameters of what a clean goal is? Or am I operating from this dirty goal? And then looking back at what are the goals that you have achieved and how did you achieve them? What are the goals you haven't achieved and why didn't you achieve them? And then when you can really start thinking about your thinking, that's going to give you so much traction. It's going to give you so much leeway so much evidence, into like really figuring out what's going on. And this is the kind of work we do inside the membership. And so if this is resonating with you and you're deciding, I really need to clean up these things, I really need to figure out why I keep tripping over, and you have all the best intentions, I get it. But if you can't get that objectivity, or if you can't have that difference between a clean goal and a dirty goal, that's going to be trouble. So, all right. I am so excited for 2025. I would love you to share this podcast with your friends. Mindset makes all the difference. It is, when I look back at what I have been able to accomplish, and more importantly, what my members in the membership have accomplished because they focus on mindset, it makes all the difference. And I cannot wait to help you as we continue on with these podcasts. And if you decide to come to the membership, you're welcome with welcome arms. All right, take care. Bye.
If you aren't loving your current life and hear yourself saying things like, I should be happier, I should be getting more done, or question how productive and fulfilled you are, this podcast is for you. I'm Dara Thomason, professional quilter turned life coach for quilters. where I show you how to overcome obstacles like perfectionism, people pleasing, overeating, overcomplicating life, so that you can really start to enjoy your life by learning and using tools for your brain to help you transform your everyday living. Are you ready to make these changes? I'm ready to help. Let's start your transformation one UFO at a time.